Hello, good day, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast From Zero to Hero. Today, I'm your host, Tony Mudd, and I am super thrilled that you are joining me on the podcast. You can be doing anything with your time and energy, but you are here with me, okay? So, today, I got something special. Today, we are tackling something that affects millions of Americans every single day. We're tackling how to deal with a bad manager, right? If you ever had a horrible boss, and I'm talking about that kind of person that makes your stomach turn on a Sunday night just thinking about going into work on Monday morning, this episode is for you, okay? But here's the truth. A bad manager doesn't just ruin your workday, they wreck your confidence, mess with your mental health, and even those issues even follow you home into your family life, your sleep, and your sense of self. But here's the good news. You are not powerless. And today I'm going to walk you through how to deal with a bad manager, how to protect your mental health, and how to take back control, even in some of the most toxic work environments, okay? So let's talk about this a little bit more. We spend so much of our life at work, more than any other place in our lives, right? Between getting ready, commuting, working, doing your actual job, and even decompressing after work. More than 10 plus hours a day revolve around your work. That's more than half of your life, more than half of your waking life. And most of us were spending that time working for somebody else just to pay our bills, support our family, build a life. But what we don't realize is how much power our managers truly have over us. Not just our careers, but our actual mental health. Okay. It was once said that your manager affects your mental health more than your therapist. And I can tell you right now, that's a hard truth. Because if you have a great boss, if you have a great supervisor, a great leader, you know how good it feels to go into work. And you don't even have to be asked a lot of time to go into work. You just truly enjoy what you're doing. But if you have a toxic employer, you know how quickly that can break you down. A great boss or a great supervisor or a great manager can make you feel seen, valued, motivated. But a toxic leader, on the other hand, they can leave you questioning yourself, leave you questioning your abilities, and even your worth at work. So let's talk about some red flags here, okay? So how do you know if you're dealing with a bad manager, a bad leader, a bad supervisor? Sometimes it can be truly obvious, but other times it can be kind of subtle. Here are some classic red flags that scream that you are dealing with a horrible boss, okay? The first thing is that they micromanage every task but never leave clear guidance. Okay. They're always emotionally unpredictable. They're cool one minute and then they're extremely explosive the next minute. They rush through meetings, they change priorities constantly, and they blame you when things go wrong. They gossip with people, they play favorites, and they make inappropriate comments. And worst of all, they can even make you question yourself. Are you good enough? Are you not good enough in the workplace, no matter how hard you work? And here's the thing, this kind of work environment doesn't just ruin your workday, it also starts to own you. Okay. You find yourself thinking about work even when you're at home. You are more irritable, snappy with your family and your friends. You lose sleep. You'll start actually having nightmares about your work and your projects and the things you got to get done. Your health starts to decline, and the hobbies that you once loved become a chore. You stop wanting to do the things that you used to want to do. And does that sound familiar? Because if you think about it, you're really not alone. Okay. A toxic boss or a toxic supervisor can really have some serious impact on your mental health and your emotional state. But why is that? Why do bad managers and bad supervisors and bad leaders impact us so much? Okay. And a large part of it is because work isn't just work. It's where we spend most of our time. It's where we spend most of our energy. It's where we spend most of our focus. It's tied to our sense of purpose. It's tied to our sense of identity. It's tied to our sense of stability. Think about it here for a minute. When you first meet somebody or you go to a conference or wherever you go, okay, what is the first thing that people ask you? The first thing that people ask you is, what do you do? What do you do for a living? Reason being is because that has a large sense of on your purpose, that has a large sense on your identity and your stability and the things, what are you bringing into this world? What are you doing with your life, basically? When a manager leads with respect and empathy, they start to create an environment that's really safe for everybody to grow and is creative and it makes people feel fulfilled. But when you have a toxic boss or a horrible boss, it triggers a stress response in your brain. Did you know that? It keeps you in a fight or flight mode all day long. That's why when you get off work and you notice that you have a job that you don't like, you feel drained. You feel emotionally powerless. You feel like you're dragging home. Okay. And you literally like, oh my God, I just got off today and I'm going to try to make the most out of today. You end up staying up later at night because you don't really want to go into work, because you really don't want the day to end, because you don't really want to go to work. You don't want to see that supervisor's face. Okay. And here's the truth. Most people, when they are asked, what would you do if you won a large sum of money or you was told that you would only have a few months to live? First thing that they would say is, I will quit my job. And that tells you everything that you need to know about how a toxic work environment can completely drain the life out of us or the life out of you. And here's the thing that really might sting here. For a long time, I used to believe that there was such a thing called a dream job. That's a true myth, right? And when people are searching for a dream job, they never find it. And the truth for that is because we're looking for a dream leader, not a dream job. Those don't exist. You can have the perfect salary, unlimited vacation. You can have all the perks in the world. But if you have a toxic boss or a toxic supervisor, none of it matters because it's not the job that breaks you. It's the leadership. Sometimes I wish there was an X-ray vision machine that could scan a company's culture before we accept the job. Imagine being able to see the truth behind the polished job descriptions and we are like family pitches and all those things. You were able to spot the micromanagement. You were able to spot the office politics, the unpaid extra tasks, and the passive aggressive emails. You were able to feel the tense energy in the room that no one tries to mention in the interview. But since we don't have that X-ray vision, we need some real tools to help us make some real decisions on how to deal with toxic managers, how to deal with inappropriate leaders in the real world. Okay. So let's talk about some of those practical strategies. Okay. If you are stuck working under a bad supervisor right now, what can you do? How can you protect your mental health and keep your sanity while still holding on to your job? So I have 4 strategies for you, okay, when you're dealing with this toxic manager. Strategy number 1, make sure you set boundaries even when it feels impossible. Toxic managers love to blur the lines, okay? They love to blur the lines, but you need to set boundaries to protect yourself. Stop responding to non-urgent emails after work. Stop responding to non-urgent emails on the weekend when you're not getting paid, okay? Set time limits on your meetings. A lot of times you'll have these managers and they'll throw you into all these meetings that are just honestly useless, okay? And they go over on and on with no end in sight. So you have to set time limits on your meetings and let them know. Say, hey, I already have another meeting lined up. This is what I have to do, and this is what I need to do it for, okay? And you have to protect your personal space, okay? Set time limits for meetings and protect your personal space emotionally and physically. Number 2, document everything. If you are dealing with a boss who is chaotic, inconsistent, inappropriate, document it, okay? Keep a paper trail. And one of the big reasons is because it's not about being sneaky, it's about protecting yourself if things escalate, okay? Because if they're doing things that are inappropriate, you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself. Number 3, manage up. Okay. Sometimes you may not actually have a toxic or a bad boss. You may just have a boss that is overwhelmed and undertrained. And in those cases, you have to manage up so you can help yourself. You have to be proactive. Instead of just pointing out problems, you have to offer real solutions and then clarify the expectations on what that supervisor or what that manager is looking for. And I'm going to be real with you here. Now, tip number 3 really takes a lot of energy and it really takes a lot of tenacity and courage because it takes more energy, but it can create more clarity for both you and your supervisor. Strategy number 4, plan your exit strategically. Okay. Now, if you're working in a workplace and it's really bad, okay, you have to start planning your exit plan. Okay. But do it strategically. Don't just quit out of anger, quit out of frustration because you're going to be without a job, without an income. okay, before you can get to your next place of employment. Use your current job to fund your next opportunity, okay? Polish up your resume, polish up your network, and set an actual timeline and goal for when this needs to be done and completed, okay? Even just having a simple exit plan can give you a peace of mind. I want to leave you all with this. Just because you are stuck in a toxic work environment now doesn't mean that you are powerless, okay? You might feel trapped, but you're not. You're not defined by having a poor supervisor or a bad supervisor. And you are not weak for feeling drained and overwhelmed. You are actually human and you deserve better. The journey from zero to hero isn't always about grand victories and winning all the time. Sometimes it's about the quiet moments where you actually choose yourself over others, okay? Where you say, I deserve better. And in that moment, you are actually giving yourself power because you deserve a better work environment. You deserve a work environment where you feel free, you feel valued, you feel motivated, you feel like you are pursuing your purpose, you feel inspired. You don't mind getting up, going to work every single day. If you find yourself dragging into work every day and at this hopelessness, and you find yourself constantly irritated, you find yourself not knowing what your career plan is, like where you're going in your career, you have to take a step back and reassess the situation and think about what you want out of your life. Because I'm telling you right now, it goes by so fast. You'll look up and 10 years would have went past. Okay. So you have to think about what you want out of your life. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Zero to Hero. That's all I have for you. If this episode resonated with you today, please feel free to share it with somebody who might be dealing with a toxic boss or a horrible supervisor. We all need a reminder that we're not in this alone. Okay. And if you are that manager listening today, that horrible boss, take this as a challenge. You have the power to shape somebody's life, not just their career. Lead with empathy and you will change lives forever. Okay. Until next time, take care, y'all, and stay positive. Peace.